Mitchell stood in the dry dock and looked up at the massive ship before her. The ocean crown stretched out like a dead whale, its paint peeling in long strips, rust eating through the metal hull in angry red patches. The vessel had not moved in 19 years. No one wanted it. No one cared about it. That was exactly why I had bought it for $2,500. Her crew boss had called her crazy when she told him. Her mother had asked her what she was thinking. Even her best friend Devon had laughed until he saw she was serious, but knew something they did not. She knew how to see a broken machine and understand what it wanted to be again. Climbed the rusted gangway and stepped onto the main deck. The planks creaked under her boots. Salt spray had left everything crusty and stained. The deck chairs were just piles of rotted fabric now. The swimming pools held nothing but stagnant water and the bodies of dead birds. Inside the ship, the air was thick and heavy, turned on her flashlight and moved through the corridors. Empty cabins lined the hallways. Some doors hung open. Others stayed locked, sealed against time. She passed the dining halls with their tables still set, the kitchen with its massive ovens, the entertainment areas where people had once danced and laughed. But something was wrong, felt it in her bones. As she went deeper into the ship, the atmosphere changed. The design of the rooms became stranger. The walls had a shine to them that was not normal paint. The fixtures were made of materials she did not recognize. In the captain's quarters, she found the first real clue. The instruments were not standard cruise ship equipment, had worked on enough boats and ships to know what belonged on a vessel like this. These control panels had no maker marks. They had no labels in English. The buttons and switches seemed to be made from something smooth and clear, like crystal but harder. When she touched one, it was warm. Moved through the lower decks slowly. The engine rooms should have been filled with the old mechanical systems used in the 1980s. Instead, she found something else. The power systems were intricate and complex beyond anything she had ever seen. The wiring ran through crystalline conduits. There were chambers with strange symbols carved into the walls. Some kind of fluid filled sealed tanks, glowing faintly with a blue light. She took photographs with her phone, documenting everything. Her hands shook a little. This was not normal. This was not what an old cruise ship should contain. In one sealed compartment, she found a vault. The door was thick and covered in symbols that reminded her of nothing she had studied. No rust touched it. The metal was pristine and perfect, protected by something that had kept the ocean air away. Next to the vault was a control panel with a single red button and a slot that looked like it might accept some kind of key or card. Sat down on the floor and tried to think. She had spent 15 years as a mechanic. She understood machines. She understood what they were made of and how they worked, but this was beyond her experience. This was something else entirely. She spent the rest of the day exploring every inch of the ship she could access. She found more of the central vault sat 3 decks below the waterline. Had found the route to it by following the crystalline conduits that ran through the ship like arteries. They all led here, to this room, to this door, to this sealed chamber. It took her 2 weeks to figure out how to open it. The red button next to the slot was obviously important. Spent days searching for a key card or access device. She found nothing. Then on a Tuesday evening, she made a decision. She reached out and pressed the button. Nothing happened for 3 seconds. Then the whole room hummed. The air became electric. A projector activated above the vault and a figure appeared in the air before her. It was humanoid but not human. Its skin was pale blue. Its eyes were too large and too dark. It wore clothes that seemed to be made of the same crystalline material as the ship's systems. The figure opened its mouth and spoke. The words came out in English, but they did not come from the figure's mouth. They came from everywhere and nowhere. This is a recording intended for the expedition's successor or for whoever discovers this vessel. I am Leader Vessel 19 of the Republic Research Team. If you are hearing this, our mission on your world has ended. This ship is an observation platform. It is not a human vessel. We created the exterior design to blend with your civilization and avoid detection. His heart pounded. She wanted to run. She wanted to laugh. Neither was happening. The recording continued. Inside this vault is our research data and a portion of our technology that we left behind as insurance. We also left resources in the form of rare earth elements in crystalline form. You would recognize their value immediately. These elements are worth approximately 75 million of your American dollars on human markets. The figure gestured toward the vault. The metal door began to glow. Then slowly it slid open. There is a critical warning. The ship's power systems require regular maintenance. Without proper attention, the primary energy cascade will destabilize in 72 hours from the moment this recording activates. The process will damage the vessel and create hazardous conditions in the surrounding area. You must stabilize the systems immediately. His legs felt weak. She sat down hard. If you are human, the recording said, and you are hearing this, you should know that the Republic finds your species remarkable. You are dangerous in ways you do not understand. You are adaptable in ways that surprise us. You act with purpose and creativity in moments of crisis. These are unusual qualities among the species we know. Keep these qualities. They will serve you well when the galaxy finally opens to you. The figure disappeared. The recording ended, sat alone in the humming room. She pulled out her phone and checked the time. She had 72 hours before everything went wrong. She took out her tool bag, then she went to work. The first thing she did was study the primary power systems. They used energy from fusion, but in a way she had never seen before. The crystal conduits carried energy in forms that seemed to shift between liquid and pure power. Stabilizing it meant understanding how the entire system worked. It meant getting inside the machinery and making repairs without destroying everything in the process. Worked for 18 hours straight. She stopped only to drink water and eat the sandwiches she had brought. Her hands moved across the strange controls with growing confidence. She realized that mechanical systems were mechanical systems, regardless of where they came from. They followed rules. They behaved in logical ways. She just had to understand those rules. At 4 in the morning on the second day, she made a decision. She called Walter, her old mentor from the shipyard. She called Devon, her friend from childhood. Both men arrived within hours. She told them everything. Walter's face went pale as she explained. Devon just stared at the glowing vault, but both men understood one important thing: needed help and they would help her. Together they worked through the night and the next day, directed their efforts. Walter understood power systems. Devon was good with electrical work. They stabilized conduits, balanced power flows, and carefully adjusted systems that had been in decline for nearly 2 decades. At hour 71, the energy cascade finally stabilized. The ship went quiet. The humming stopped. The blue lights shifted to a steady, peaceful glow. The three of them collapsed in one of the crew quarters, lay on a moldy bed and stared at his hands were shaking from exhaustion, but she could not stop moving. The power cascade was stabilized, but the work was far from over. The ship's systems were still vulnerable. One mistake, one oversight, and everything could collapse again. She sent Walter and Devon home to sleep. She stayed behind. The sealed compartments in the lower decks began to open automatically as the ship's power came back online. Moved through them like a person in a dream. She found storage rooms filled with equipment. She found medical bays with alien instruments arranged carefully on shelves. She found laboratories with computers that displayed data in languages she could not read. Then she found the surveillance room. The monitors activated as she entered. Hundreds of screens flickered to life. They showed recordings from throughout the ship. But more than that, they showed recordings from above. Satellite images, city streets, military installations, research facilities. The Republic had been watching Earth for decades. Sat down in front of the main console. She scrolled through months of footage. She watched humans going about their lives, completely unaware they were being observed. She saw military operations. She saw scientific breakthroughs. She saw moments of human kindness and moments of human cruelty. Then she found the recordings labeled with her name, Mitchell. The footage showed her working on the ship. It showed her thinking. It showed her problem-solving. It showed her teaching Devon and Walter how to repair the alien systems. The AI had been recording everything, analyzing everything. A text file appeared on the screen. It was written in simple English. Human Mitchell demonstrates exceptional problem-solving capability under stress. Adaptability suggests human species has been significantly underestimated by current galactic assessment. Creativity in technical repair work indicates intelligence patterns divergent from predictable learning models. Recommendation: human species requires revised classification and direct observation protocol. Read the words twice, then she laughed. It was a strange sound in the empty ship. She realized something important as she sat there. Humanity was being watched, but the Republic was not hostile. They were curious. They saw something in humans that made them interesting. A new alert appeared on the console. Communication beacon activating. Signal will transmit to Republic vessel in 7 cycles. Estimated response time, 3 weeks. 3 weeks, had 3 weeks to decide what to do next. She began reviewing the technology in the vault. The rare earth elements were valuable, yes, but the real treasure was the knowledge, that had left behind documentation of their science, energy systems that could power cities, medical technology that could cure diseases, materials science that could revolutionize manufacturing. Made decisions in that moment that would change everything. She would not sell this ship. She would not hide what she had found. She would prepare humanity for contact with an alien civilization, and she would do it her way. She called Walter and Devon again. She explained what she had found. The communication beacon had been transmitting for 2 days when the response arrived. It came not as a warship or a threat, but as a small diplomatic vessel. It was elegant and sleek, made of materials that seemed to shift between silver and blue depending on the angle of the light. It docked with the ocean crown gently. Stood in the central chamber where the vault was located. Around her stood her team. Walter was there. Devon was there. The physicist, the engineer, the military liaison, and the others stood ready. The who emerged from the docking bridge were nothing like what had expected. They were tall and graceful. Their skin was pale blue and smooth. Their eyes were large and intelligent. They wore simple clothing that seemed to be made of the same material as the ship itself. The lead stepped forward. "I am Counselor Wren of the Republic. We received the signal from this vessel. We did not expect to find it repaired and maintained by human hands." Stepped forward, her voice was steady. "I am Mitchell. I bought this ship because it interested me. When I discovered what it was, I fixed it. That is what mechanics do." Counselor Wren studied her for a long moment. Then something that might have been a smile crossed the alien's face. "The AI systems informed us of your work. You are remarkable, Mitchell. Your species is remarkable. For many cycles, we have observed humans and concluded you were limited. We were wrong." Listened as Counselor Wren explained the assessment of humanity. Humans were dangerous because they could think in ways that were not predictable. Humans were valuable because they would attempt things that seemed impossible. Humans were worth knowing because they cared about things beyond their own survival. Made a choice in that moment. She took Counselor Wren to the surveillance room. She showed them the observations they had made of Earth. She asked them what they truly saw when they looked at humanity. Counselor Wren was quiet for a long time. Then the alien said, "We see a species that is learning to be greater than it is. We see a species that makes mistakes but continues forward. We see a species that creates art and music and stories even when it struggles to survive. These things are valuable in ways the announcement came from the United Nations 3 weeks later. Humanity had made contact with an alien civilization. The news shocked the world. Some people celebrated. Some people were afraid. Some people refused to believe it was real. But knew it was real because she was standing on the bridge of the ocean crown, watching Counselor Wren and a delegation of scientists work alongside her team. They were studying human biology and technology. They were teaching humans about crystal-based energy systems. They were building the foundation for a partnership that would change history. The rare earth elements from the vault had been and valued. The $75 million had inherited became secondary to something much more important. The technology she had gained access to was worth billions, but the real value was the knowledge and the relationship. Had become something she never expected. She was no longer just a mechanic. She was humanity's first official representative to the Republic. The government had given her that role, recognizing that she had done something no diplomat could have done. She had found common ground with an alien species. She had shown them that humans were worth knowing. Walter spent his days working with engineers, learning about power systems that would change energy production on Earth. Devon used his electrical knowledge to help translate alien technology into human systems. The other members of his team had become ambassadors in their own right, each one learning and teaching in their area of expertise. Stood at the viewport and looked out at Earth below. The ocean crown hung in a special orbit above the Pacific, a bridge between worlds. The ship that had been dead and abandoned was now the center of human first contact. She thought about the moment she had bought the ship for $2,500. She thought about all the people who had said she was crazy. She thought about the moment she had discovered the truth about what the ship was. Approached her. It was one of the scientists, a female named Vessel 7. "Mitchell, I have been analyzing the recordings of your initial repair work. Your problem-solving approach is remarkable. You did not have complete information, yet you proceeded with confidence and adaptability. This is the quality that makes humans valuable. Smiled, I just fix things. I see what is broken and I make it work again. That is what I do. Yes, Vessel 7 said. And that is exactly why the Republic believes humanity will be great among the stars. You do not ask if something can be fixed. You simply fix it and find the answers as you go. Turned back to the viewport. Somewhere down there, life was continuing. People were going to work. People were eating meals. People were falling in love and raising children and building things. They did not know yet how much was about to change. They did not know that the future was coming. But she had always known that the Ocean Crown was more than just an old ship. She had always sensed that it wanted to be something greater. She had always believed that broken things could be repaired and made whole again. She had just never imagined that fixing one ship would lead to humanity's first contact with an alien civilization. But then again, Mitchell had never been good at imagining limits. She had always been good at finding solutions. And now, standing between two worlds, she was doing exactly that. Had forgotten. Negotiated carefully over the next hours. She did not ask for weapons or military technology. Instead, she asked for things that would help humanity grow. She asked for medical knowledge. She asked for energy systems. She asked for transportation technology. In return, she offered human collaboration and partnership. Counselor Wren agreed to everything. They wanted to learn from humanity. They wanted to understand what made humans different, and they were willing to share knowledge to make that learning possible. By the time the negotiations ended, had fundamentally changed the relationship between Earth and the Republic. Told them about the 3 weeks. She told them about the Republic's assessment of humanity, and she asked them to help her prepare. Over the next weeks and her small team, the ship systems, they learned how to operate the alien technology. They began recording their own documentation, translating the knowledge into terms that human scientists could understand. Reached out carefully to people she trusted. A physicist at the local university, an engineer who worked in aerospace, a military liaison she had met years before. She did not tell them everything, but she told them enough. She brought them to the ship one by one. She showed them the technology. She watched their faces as the reality of what she had found sank in. By the time the 3 weeks had passed, had assembled a team of 12 people. They were scientists, engineers, military personnel, and thinkers. They understood what was coming. They understood that humanity was about to make contact with an alien civilization. And they understood that Mitchell, a mechanic from a small shipyard, was going to be at the center of it all. Gee, they had done it. Against impossible odds, they had done it. She did not know that the ship's AI systems had been recording everything. She did not know that the Republic would soon receive a signal from this vessel, telling them it had been found and repaired. She did not know that her life was about to change forever. Strange technology. She found reinforced sections that should not have existed. She found evidence that the ship had been maintained regularly, even though it appeared abandoned. Recent maintenance marks were hidden behind panels and in places no casual visitor would ever look. By evening, sat in what used to be the captain's office and made decisions. First, she would tell no one about what she had found. Second, she would hire contractors to begin clearing the upper decks, making it look like a normal salvage operation. Third, she would spend every spare moment learning about this ship's real secrets. She had no idea what she had bought, but Mitchell had never walked away from a problem in her life. She had never seen a broken machine she could not understand. This ship was just another puzzle. It would take time. It would take work. It would take everything she had. But was good at hard things.